my topic, which is role of serotonin receptor 1A in depression. So let us start. What we are going to discuss in this is that what depression is, some of its types and symptoms, some general factors that cause depression, some facts about depression, and serotonin, a basic introduction, its biosynthesis and metabolism. Serotonin from brain to behavior aspect, the serotonin theory of depression, types of serotonin receptor, and role of serotonin receptor 1A in depression. Its major genetic basis discussion. So let us start. So what depression is? According to World Health Organization, it is a common mental disorder affecting more than 264 million people worldwide. It is being characterized by persistent sadness and lack of interest or pleasure in previously rewarding or enjoyable activities. It can disturb your sleep, your appetite, make you feel tired, you have poor concentration, and thus it is a leading cause of disability around the world and contributes greatly to the global burden of disease. So, more or less similar to this, the American Psychiatric Association suggests that it is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel. It can cause feeling of sadness or loss of interest in activities once you enjoyed, and thus it can lead to a variety of emotional as well as physical problems and can decrease a person's ability to function at work or work at home. So, there are seven major types of depression present. The first one is major depressive disorder, which is also referred as clinical depression, and this disorder is a mood disorder being characterized by a number of key features, including depressed mood, lack of interest in activities, change in weight, change in sleep, fatigue. But the thing which we have to note here is that in major depressive disorder, a person may have the thought of death or even of suicide. Next is persistent depressive disorder. Earlier, this was known as dysthymia, and it refers to a type of chronic depression, means long-lasting depression, present for more than days. So it can be mild, moderate, or severe. Some people might experience brief period of not feeling depressed, but it is just for a short period of time. Like symptoms last only for 2 months or less. So these symptoms are not as much as severe as that of major depressive disorder, but they are long lasting, like feeling of sadness, loss of interest, anger, irritability, feeling of guilt, low self-esteem, trouble concentrating. So next is third one is bipolar disorder. So in this type of disorder, depression, we can say it is a mood disorder which is characterized by periods of abnormally elevated mood. Like there are short term or short period in which a person mood is irrelevantly elevated, and this period is known as mania. So these periods can be mild like hypomania, or they can be so extreme so as to cause marked impairment with the person's life. Sometimes a person may require hospitalization also. This type of disorder consists of wide range of physical as well as emotional symptoms, which may include fatigue, insomnia, unexplained ache, pain, hopelessness, loss of self-esteem, irritability, anxiety. Fourth one is postpartum depression. See, pregnancy can bring about a significant hormonal shift, we all know that, and thus can affect a woman's mood. Depression can have its onset during this time period of pregnancy, and it is more than just the baby blues. So this type of depression is known as postpartum depression, and it can be more severe and longer lasting, and the symptoms are similar, like including low mood, feeling of sadness, social withdrawal, trouble bonding with your baby, appetite change, feeling inadequate or worthlessness. Fifth one is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Like it is most common disorder among the females because the symptoms are more or less similar to that of PMS, that is premenstrual syndrome. So we can say that PMS or premenstrual syndrome during the menstruation cycle can cause this type of disorder. So it includes the similar symptoms, but those related to the moods are more pronounced. So PMDD includes extreme fatigue, feeling sad, hopelessness, severe feeling of stress or anxiety, mood swings, irritability, inability to concentrate, food cravings, or binging. So, sixth one is seasonal affective disorder. So, we can say it is the major depressive disorder with seasonal pattern. How? In this type of disorder, if an individual is experience a depression or the symptoms of depression during a particular season, such as in winter, but is perfectly fine in spring. So he, she may have a condition known as seasonal affective disorder or SAD. So it is believed to be triggered by the disturbance in the normal circadian rhythm or the biological clock within the body of a person. So when the light, we all know that when light enters through the eyes, it influences the rhythm of our body, or the biological clock is already been set by this light. So any seasonal variation may cause the change in this night-day pattern and thus cause a disruption leading to the depression. So its prevalence rate can be difficult to pinpoint because this condition often goes undiagnosed or unreported. Because sometimes we can see that the person or the person living in the areas far from the equator or having the dominant winter season have the more chances to be diagnosed with this SAD. Because the light intensity is low here, so we can say that it's suggested that it impacts 1% population of Florida, whereas the number increases to 9% in Alaska. So it is more common in those region which is far from the equator or is common in far northern or far southern region of the planet and can often treated by the light therapy. Seventh one is atypical depression. So as the terminology suggests that it is the typical depression but with a atypical feature. What is that atypical feature is that it is differ in the mood reactivity. What is this? So in other words, a person is going through the major depressive disorder, but her mood is able to improve if something positive happens. So it is characterized by specific set of symptoms like excessive eating or weight gain, excessive sleep, fatigue, weakness, strong reactive mood. So, what are the general factors that cause depression in our day-to-day life? See, depression is not occur by a single factor. It has multiple factors responsible for it, like biochemistry, like differences in certain chemicals within the brain, maybe hormone, dopamine, serotonin, may contribute to the symptom of depression. Genetics, depression can run in families, although the pattern is not well defined at how it run in families, but it has been noted or seen that it can run in families. So if one identical twin has depression, the other has a 70% of chances to having this illness sometime in his life. Personality, so social factor that affect the depression or affect a person. So people with low self-esteem, who are easily overwhelmed by the stress or who are generally pessimistic, appear to more likely to experience this depression. Environmental factors, like if someone is continuously have exposure to the violence, have neglected, abuse, or poverty, may make some people more vulnerable to this depression. So it is generally believed that all mental disorder, including clinical depression, are caused by the complex interaction and combination of biological, psychological, and social factors. And this theory is called biopsychosocial model of causation and is the most generally accepted theory among mental health professional and researcher. So Manner 2018 suggests such model that how some set of genes been implicated in the cause of condition might interact with other factors like environment and then lead to the depression. You can see here there are certain factors known as personality and temperamental factor which may incline a person towards the depression, or other thing is gene sets, and other thing is internal as well as external factors, how all of them are interrelated and cause the depression. So this model is called as gene environment model of depression. So I'm talking about some of these factors, and like some social factors or personality temperamental factors predisposing or incline a person towards the depression are neuroticism, means it is one of the 5 major personality traits, and it is the tendency to experience negative emotion like anger, worry, sadness. Rumination means a considered thought about something. Stress vulnerability, when a person is more vulnerable to stress. Stress impulsivity means to act without thinking. Negative conjunctive style or negative living style. So, but there are some factors also that protect a person against depression, like openness, trust, acceptance, stress coping. Some of the external factor like early life event, provoking life event, seasonal changes, social support also affect a person. Next is internal factor like hormones, biological rhythm generator, combined disorder, like these are the multiple disorder occurring at the same time, like depression and anxiety occurring together. What are the candidate gene sets? Like this is 5-HTT-LPR means serotonin transporter linked polymorphic region. So it is located, this gene is located on the chromosome number 17 and it is the candidate gene set as serotonin transporter. CB1 is cannabinoid receptor 1. It is expressed in both PNS and CNS, and this gene is present on chromosome number 6. So TPH2 means tryptophan hydroxylase 2. This is an isoenzymatic form of tryptophan hydroxylase, which is the important enzyme in the biosynthesis of serotonin, and this gene is present on chromosome number 12. CREB1 means camp responsive element binding protein 1. So it is suggested that this is involved in the intracellular transduction in the major depressive disorder. What is BDNF? It is brain derived neurotrophic factor. As we all know that this factor helps to support survival of existing neuron and encourage growth and differentiation of new neuron. HTR1A, which I'm going to discuss about in detail in the further slides. So these are the gene encoding for the serotonin receptor 1A, and this is the gene encoding serotonin receptor 2A. So quickly, let's see some of the important facts. So it has been estimated that 1 in 5 people in our country need counseling, either psychological or psychiatric. Psychological means counseling, psychiatric means medicine treatment. 36% of Indians are likely to suffer from the major depression at some point in their lives. So, and 3 of every 100 residents in urban areas are estimated to suffer from depression. And on an average in India, 20.9 people commit suicide per every 1 lakh people. What happened during pandemic? So ever since the pandemic hit over 5 months back, this theory or the study was given in the Journal of Psychiatric and Psychiatric Disorder, is published there, and it suggests that about 43 percentage of Indians people are been suffering from this depression. So, and you can see here the age group of 16 to 20 are more prone to this depression during the pandemic. So let's talk about serotonin. What is serotonin? Some general statements I'll provide you, that it is a chemical that has a wide variety of function in the human body. It contributes to the happy or well-being of a person, thus called as a happy chemical. And the scientific name of serotonin is 5-hydroxytryptamine. So hydroxyl group at the indole ring of tryptophan, this hydroxy, and the amino group consisting the structure, and thus its name 5-hydroxytryptamine, and it is mainly found in brain, bowels, and blood platelets. It was earlier known as enteromin because it was first extracted from the enterochromaffin cells or the chromaffin cells of the gut. So serotonin is a hormone and monoamine neurotransmitter. So it is found in variety of organisms, maybe singles and eukaryotes like paramecium, to the multicellular organism like mammals, including humans. It belongs to the class of monoamines. What are monoamines? These are where a basic amino group is separated from an aromatic core by aliphatic chain with 2 carbon oxide here. So how it's synthesized? See, its synthesis begin with the essential amino acid tryptophan. Why essential? Because it is not synthesized by our body. So tryptophan, what happened in this? The enzyme tryptophan hydroxylase or tryptophan 5 monooxygenase, in the presence of oxygen and this cofactor, the hydroxyl group is attached attached to the fifth position, forming 5-hydroxytryptophan, right? So in the next step, what happened? Decarboxylation. This 5-hydroxytryptophan undergoes decarboxylation by the enzyme 5-HTP decarboxylase, or its general name is aromatic amino acid decarboxylase, and the decarboxylation happens here, and this 5-hydroxytryptophan is converted into the 5-hydroxytryptamine, or commonly called as serotonin, by its metabolism. See, liver is the primary site of serotonin metabolism. This is MAO, means monoamine oxidase, and which is responsible for the oxidative deamination. What happens is serotonin, this is serotonin, and in the presence of oxygen, the enzyme monoamine oxidase work and oxidative deamination reaction occur, and here the aldehyde, acetaldehyde is attached, so 5-hydroxyindole acetaldehyde is formed. Another enzyme, which is NAD dependent aldehyde dehydrogenase, the NAD plus is reduced to form NADH, whereas this is oxidized to form 5-hydroxyindole acetate or 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. This is extracted by the kidney. So serotonin brain to behavior aspect suggests that in the central nervous system, serotonin is almost exclusively produced in neurons which are originating in the raphe nuclei. These are the raphe nuclei located in the midline of brainstem. So these are the various serotonergic pathway, or the pathway from where the serotonin go to the different parts of the brain. So these serotonin producing neurons form the largest and most complex efferent system in the human brain. So you can see here, these are the serotonin pathway. So there are over 20 known serotonergic pathways all throughout the brain, traveling to and through the following neuronal structure. These structures are like accumbens, hypothalamus, substantia nigra, cerebrum, cortex, frontal cortex. But the main you can see neural structure which we need to focus here is limbic system, because this is important because it affects our mood behavioral aspect and have a major role, a large role in anxiety, depression, and mood regulation. What it consists of? It is the complex set of structure that lies on both sides of thalamus, just under the cerebrum, and includes hypothalamus, hippocampus, amygdala, and several other nearby areas. Appears to be primarily responsible for our emotional life and has a lot to do with the formation of memories. And you can see only less than 1 in a million CNS produce serotonin, and the vast majority of the serotonin is produced outside the brain. See, approximately 90% of human body's total serotonin is located in the enterochromaffin cells in the GI tract, and what they do, it regulates intestinal movements, and about 8% is found in platelets. Only 1 to 2% are found in the CNS. The behavioral and neuropsychological process modulated by serotonin include mood, perception, reward, anger, aggression, appetite, memory, etc. So each serotonin receptors is expressed in multiple brain regions and likely to contribute to the modulation of multiple behavioral processes. Okay, the serotonin theory of depression, which was given by Christopher Kerr, this hypothesis suggests that the overall function of the serotonergic system is to enable the organism toward the feeling of fear, helplessness, and depression. Consistent with this hypothesis, some evidence was given that alteration in serotonin activity have a role in core behavior, which are also disturbed in the affective illness. So two postulates along with the evidence was given in this theory for the support of this theory. First was the involvement or the decrease in serotonin availability. So study was conducted in which two subjects post-mortem brain was observed for the concentration of the cerebrospinal fluid of serotonin or its major metabolite, which 5-HIAA. So it was found that there was a significant reduction in the concentration of serotonin in the patient which are suffering from the depression. Secondly, level of plasma tryptophan. See, we all know that tryptophan is an essential amino acid and its availability is the rate limiting step in the serotonin biosynthesis. So it was found that in the depressed patient, the tryptophan is abnormally metabolized in the peripheral organ system, like thus altering the CNS content of serotonin. So if tryptophan is not available, so how can we produce the serotonin and how brain will produce the serotonin? So this disparity between serotonin substrate, or we can say tryptophan or its metabolite, may rise from the alteration in the metabolism or increased clearance, perhaps by the non-neuronal organ system. So in depressed patient, they have increased red cell transport of tryptophan when compared to the normal. So it show a greater drop in arterial venous versus venous level of tryptophan. Thus, one interesting possibility suggests that increased peripheral uptake and clearance of tryptophan contributes to the neuronal deficiency of serotonin and which are found in the depression. Second was serotonin uptake sites and receptors. So involved the measurement of serotonin receptor content in the postmortem brain tissue. What happened in neuronal serotonin uptake sites are redistributed on serotonergic presynaptic terminals. See, what are the function of these uptake sites? Basically, they are involved in the storage of the serotonin in presynaptic terminals. So, when experiment was conducted, it suggests that there is significant decrease in the uptake site. So, in the case of depressed person, so reduction in this uptake site refers only to the loss of serotonin storage. Thus there is there is increased serotonin concentration in the synaptic cleft, because now the site will not able to reuptake it back from the cleft. So receptors, serotonin receptors, experiments suggest that there is significant alteration in the receptors of serotonin binding in the depressed person's brain. Suggests that the receptors number and their regulation plays an important role in managing the depression. What are serotonin receptors? The serotonin receptors, also known as 5-hydroxytryptamine receptors, are the group of G protein coupled receptor or GPCRs or ligand gated ion channels found in the central as well as peripheral nervous system. See, these are the receptors, 7 classes are there, out of which 5H3 is ligand gated ion channels, rest are the GPCRs, means G protein coupled receptors. What they do, they mediate both excitatory as well as inhibitory neurotransmission. Means they either mediate they mediate excitation or inhibition. And the serotonin receptor, they are activated by their natural ligand, which is serotonin. Further, as I have told you, in 7 families of serotonin, out of which 5HT3 is only ligand gated ion, rest are the GPCRs. So their classical signal transduction, the first one have subtypes which are 1A, 1B, 1D, 1I, EF. See, you can see here, these are the subtypes and their distribution varies in a person's body. Like 5HT1 is distributed in raphe nuclei or hippocampus. 1B, other region, 1 day in brain, 1 day in cortex hippocampus, so 2 in stomach. So these are the subtypes. But the regulation of a one family is similar, means they regulate or their signal transduction pathway is similar. So in the case of 5HT1A or receptor 1 only, it is GI-GO protein couple, means inhibitory. They inhibit adenylate cyclase, they reduce CAMP intracellular level, and they inhibit protein kinase activity. Rest, this is also you can say 5H2. Their GI level protein coupled, they increase IP3, increase intracellular calcium, increase DAG, and they activate EKC. So these are just for your understanding what are the classical signal transduction, but we have to focus only on this for the time being. So serotonin 1 receptors, in this serotonin 1 receptor, uh, it is the most widespread of all the serotonin receptors and being encoded by the HTR1A gene. This receptor is major inhibitory G protein coupled receptor subtype that exists in two major population in the nervous system. They are present in the as the autoreceptor or as the heteroreceptor. Its function, like how do this receptor transduct its signal? It is, as I have already told you, it is GIGO protein, so it is inhibitory that controls numerous intracellular signaling cascade. What happened in this? First, let me talk here. When the serotonin bind to this type of 5-HT1 receptor, the alpha subunit it being dissociated and it is inhibitory. So inhibit it and inhibit the adenylate cyclase. So the ATP is not able to convert into the CAM. This inhibition of this activity decreased in CAMP level, but the beta and gamma subunit, what they do? They activate or they open the K plus ion channels. So the order to decrease heart rate, whereas they inhibit the calcium ion channels, so they decreases the potential membrane and thus intracellular calcium ion concentration. So this is how they work or they transmit their signal. So as I have told you, the two subpopulation, first one is autoreceptor. These are located in the soma and the dendrites of the neurons in the raphe nuclei and are referred to as somatodendric. They are located presynaptically in the synapses and are simply referred to as presynaptic. So you can say here, these are the dendrites, somas, soma dendritic, and presynaptic means from where the synapses will originate. So receptors that are sensitive to the neurotransmitter that is released by the neuron on which the receptors are located, thus known as autoreceptors. Its key component, the negative feedback loop whereby the neuron's release of the neurotransmitter inhibits its further release of neurotransmitter. Or simply say, if a neuron is secreting the serotonin, then the autoreceptors will be present on that neurons itself, and its concentration in the synaptic left give a negative feedback and thus inhibit the further release of the serotonin. So the stimulation of this autoreceptor by the serotonin inhibits the release of serotonin in nerve terminals. What happened? The increase in this autoreceptor density has been demonstrated in the depressed suicide patient. So, an increase in autoreceptor level might result in decreased serotonin activity in projection area by lowering neuronal firing rate of serotonin. So, more the level of autoreceptor, more chances of a person to be depressed. Heteroreceptors, as its name suggests, they are expressed in target areas receiving serotonergic intervention. And as I have told you about the lymphatic system, so these are postsynaptic heteroreceptors, meaning are present on those neurons which receive the signals or the serotonin. So these heteroreceptors are mainly located on pyramidal neurons. What are these? These are the type of multipolar neuron found in areas of brain including cerebral cortex, hippocampus, and amygdala, the lymphatic system. So the activation of heteroreceptor in this area mediates a hyperpolarizing response to release serotonin on these neurons. The decrease of this heteroreceptor is one of the major cause of depression because insufficient serotonin has been received by such neurons. So more, as I have told you, more autoreceptors means more chances of a person to diagnose with the depression, and less heteroreceptors is also incline a person towards the depression. Let's talk about its genetic basis. About the 5-HT1A receptor, as I've told you, it has been encoded by the gene HTR1A gene. The human gene encoding this receptor is being localized to the chromosome number 5, 5q112, and a functional CG single nucleotide polymorphism SNP. So these are unique in all the individuals. So either the C allele will be present in this upstream region, -101N means upstream to the promoter region, or either the G allele will be present, as it is the single nucleotide polymorphism in the transcriptional control region of this gene is present, and thus they are unique in the individuals. So it has been associated with the number of mood related variables which also include depression. It has been suggested that the if a person have G allele of the polymorphism associate, then he or she have the frequent clinical presentation of comborate major depression, means depression along with the anxiety, thus suggest a common genetic background for mixed depression and anxiety state. Furthermore, the G allele of polymorphism has been associated with several mood disorders such as panic disorder. So an individual genetic basis also suggests his her ability to develop the symptoms of depression. So at the molecular level, GC or polymorphism is located in 26 base pair palindrome region. Palindrome, as we all know, which is studied similar forward and backward within the repressor enhancer region of this gene promoter. So either repressor can bind or either enhancer can bind and affect the transcription of this gene. Let us discuss about the case one. In the case of autoreceptors, so as we know, autoreceptor serotonin is synthesized by the in the raffinuclei or by the raffinuclei. So the C allele has been repressed by what factors here? DEF1, HES5, HES1. So no transcription, no autoreceptors. But in the case of G allele, it is not repressed by such factors. So the individual having G allele polymorphism, they enhance the synthesis of autoreceptors in the RAF. So G allele, no such type of inhibition is there, transcription will occur and there is increase the number of autoreceptors. And we have already mentioned in the earlier slide that in the depressed person, the more number of autoreceptor on there is high number of autoreceptor density has been found. So more the number of these autoreceptors, more will be the chances of an individual to develop the depression due to the negative feedback receives more easily, and there is low level of serotonin being released by these raffinuclei. Case 2, in case of heteroreceptors, what happened? Here the GLL polymorphism action is opposite, means when the when the GLL polymorphism is here and transcription occur, there is increased number of autoreceptor. But in this case, or in the heteroreceptor, if GLL transcription will occur, there is low level of heteroreceptor. How? See, there was a study conducted in which DEF1 null mouse was taken and this lacking the key transcription factor in the GLE polymorphism in the adults. So what happened? It has been noted that the RAFE serotonin 1A receptor RNN protein was increased by 50%, means there is high level of autoreceptor protein, but there is smaller or there is reduction in the RNA of the heteroreceptor was observed. So from here we concluded that the how GLL polymorphism act opposite for the autoreceptors and heteroreceptors. So what happened in the case of heteroreceptors? Then CN is inhibited by GS5, but DEF1 in this they enhance this CN or C polymorphism. But we have to focus in GLL. What happened in the case of GLL? There is lowering number of heteroreceptors, and as I have told, low the number of heteroreceptor, low the chances of serotonin to be received by the pyramidal neurons. Thus, a person is more inclined towards the depression. So, depression is the major reason behind the disability and can be severe as well as life-threatening. The pathology of depression, it is extremely heterogeneous and complex, which hinders the development of treatment. Although various antidepressant like MAOI, like monoamine oxidase inhibitor has been discovered, still there are many more aspects of depression which needs to be explored. A healthy diet, proper environment, healthy lifestyle, and a positive attitude towards life makes an individual low susceptible towards it. So these are the references. Thank you for your patience.